The peace agreement is 90% ready. 10% remains. And that is far more than just numbers. Those 10% contain, in fact, everything. Those are the 10%. That will determine the fate of peace. The fate of Ukraine and Europe. How people will live. 10% to save millions of lives. 10% of the determination needed for peace to work 100%. What does Ukraine want? Peace? Yes. At any cost? No. We want the end of the war, not the end of Ukraine. Are we tired? Extremely. Does that mean we are ready to surrender? Those who think so are deeply mistaken. And clearly, over all these years, they still have not understood who Ukrainians are. Withdraw from Donbas and everything will be over. That is how deception sounds when translated from Russian into Ukrainian, into English, into German, into French, and in fact, into any language in the world. Does anyone still believe them? Unfortunately. Because too often the truth is still avoided. And called diplomacy, though in reality it is simply lies in suits. Intentions must become security guarantees. And therefore be ratified. By the US Congress, by European parliaments, by all partners. A Budapest-style piece of paper will not satisfy Ukraine. Ukraine does not need a Minsk-style meticulously drafted trap. Signatures under weak agreements only fuel war. My signature will be under a strong agreement. And that is exactly what every meeting, every call, every decision is about right now. I said this to President Trump. I said it during our first meeting when everything could have ended in a storm for all of us, and during our recent meeting which gives hope to all of us. Hope that peace is close, more possible than ever, and that we are capable of securing it together. And I will be honest, it was not easy at all to achieve such a change in the tone of relations between Ukraine and the United States. From the first meeting in the Oval Office with all its tense moments to the conversation at Mar-a-Lago which made one thing clear. Without Ukraine, nothing will work. Ukraine has defended its right to have a voice. And everyone can see that Ukraine respects itself. And that is why we are respected. Ukraine is respected. And the most obvious proof of this is the 7 meetings I had this year with the President of the United States. And no matter where in the world we meet. Washington, New York, The Hague, the Vatican, the US President always mentions our people, talks about how bravely Ukrainians are fighting. Is America capable of stopping the aggressor quickly and decisively? Absolutely. Would we want that? Very much. When is it possible? Always. And when is it needed? We needed it back yesterday. And in 2026 it is possible. Sanctions are in place, we are grateful. Sanctions are biting Russia, but only an iron grip will work. Russian oil is already cheap. But their tankers must be stopped completely for the war to stop. Russian plants are already slowing down. But they must be brought to a halt so that the occupier cannot advance. And Tomahawks in Ukrainian hands would prove only one thing. Peace has no alternative. There must be peace. There must be support. And there must be a strong agreement. And then everything will work. Does Europe understand this? Yes. Does all of Europe understand it? No. And I do not want that understanding to come to everyone in Europe one day at 4 a.m, the way it came to Ukraine. I do not want that understanding to be brought to Europeans by armored vehicles with the letter Z on their streets. And when Putin says, "We're not going to attack you," that is the first warning of exactly where his tanks will go and where his drones will fly. And today we have every right to say this plainly. Ukraine is, in fact, the only shield that now separates Europe's comfortable way of life from the Russian world. And for most leaders, the question, why support Ukraine, does not arise. Because if, God forbid, Ukraine falls, the next questions would be: why support Poland? And who will fight for the Baltic states? And what is there to do without Ukraine in NATO? Europe needs Ukraine, and Ukraine needs Europe. We feel this more than ever.
What?